Welcome back. I promised you a video on my conditions and explaining how much of a sick note that I am. So, PCOS, PMDD, underactive thyroid. We're going to talk about all of this in episode 3, which I'm calling exercise, nutrition and hormones. So I picked today to talk about this topic for a reason. So basically, I'm now 12 days out from my debut show, but I am also 42 days since my last period, which means one thing: there's a problem. So there is a hormonal issue at the moment. It's not under eating, because I'm not. It's not overtraining, because I'm not. I think it's life. I'm very stressed at the moment. I have got a lot going on. I've got 2 jobs. I'm trying to fit all this bodybuilding in as well. All the meal prep, all the cooking, all the, extra time that I've got to plan everything. And plus my kid. I say kids because it's coming for the other one. But my daughter has got chickenpox. And the other one is imminent. So it's been a lot. It's been a lot of stress, and one thing I didn't do was listen to my body. I had some spotting around my ovulation. Basically I should have calmed down and taken some rest days, but I didn't. I didn't listen to my body. I am too much of a box ticker. I wanted to achieve all my goals, so I didn't listen, and as a result, I'm late on my period. It still feels like I'm going to have one. My stomach is really tender, but at this moment in time we haven't. Over the past 11 years I have worked to balance my hormones, mostly through trial and error, and understanding my body, learning it, listening to it. Let's retract. Let's go back to the beginning on how everything happened, basically, because I never really suffered with my weight. I was always about size 10 and could eat and drink and do what I wanted. Didn't really train, done a bit of running, but was absolutely fine just to crack on with life. As a young woman, young women have nice slender bodies majority of the time, and it's easy to maintain. Then I got pregnant, and afterwards I was diagnosed with underactive thyroid. I mean, I didn't know that I had underactive thyroid at first, but it explained a lot. I found that I was tired. But when I say tired, it wasn't just tired, it was like exhausted. And I had gained weight, but I was continuing to gain weight. But, when you've just had a baby, you would just assume that that's part and parcel of the situation. But there was other signs too. I mean, like when I said I was exhausted, I was like, sometimes when I sleep, I'd pass out literally to the point that I wouldn't be woken up by my daughter crying, and like her dad would lean over me to get her out of the basket because I was just like gone. That was it, I was gone. And other signs as well, like puffy face. I don't know if anyone else has underactive thyroid who is listening to this and can drop a comment, about your symptoms, but the puffy face, you just feel like someone's pumped you up and you're just like swollen. I was always cold, and I had the hottest baths, and I just feel like I'm warming the core, I had low blood pressure, brain fog, thinning hair and nails, and also irregular menstrual cycles, so that was part and parcel. But I also had carpal tunnel, so if anyone's ever had that, it's like when you get like really big fat sausage fingers, and they were so numb and so sore at the same time. So I had all these symptoms. It wasn't just the weight, which at first I thought was part and parcel of, having a baby, and just put it down to that. But then, these other symptoms led me to going to the doctors and getting diagnosed, and then I got my underactive thyroid diagnosis, and I was put on levothyroxine. And when I went for the tests for my thyroid, they discovered something else. They discovered that I was rhesus O negative. Now, at the time, I did not know what that meant, didn't have a clue what O negative means, but they explained it. And it just turned out to be a huge penny drop moment for me. And it just explains so much, because before I had Molly, I had an ectopic pregnancy. Basically, I was rushed into hospital after collapsing. I had thought I was pregnant. I'd gone for a scan. They told me that there was no baby, that I'd miscarried. But 3 months later, collapsed, rushed into hospital, discovered that I had an ectopic pregnancy, and I had to have my left fallopian tube removed, basically. It was quite scary, to be honest with you, because 6 months prior, my mum's friend's daughter sadly passed away from an ectopic pregnancy. So all through that, craziness, it was a scary, scary time. But luckily I was absolutely fine, had my tube removed, thought that, I might have some problems with conceiving, but apparently, fun fact, this is just it absolutely blew my mind at the time. Your fallopian tubes can move to the other ovary to pick up eggs. So they're not just for one ovary. So I had one removed, and I thought, I'm not going to, because I asked them, why did you leave the ovary? I was just trying to understand the whole sort of process. And because I was still ovulate on this side, and this fallopian tube can pick up the egg from the other side. So chances of conception hadn't, dropped like I thought. I thought it was going to be like a 50-50, but no, that didn't happen. I was nervous, but it was absolutely fine. And falling pregnant was not a problem after that. So I wanted to get pregnant and tried to fall pregnant many times, but unfortunately kept miscarrying. Miscarriage, and didn't have any answers, just, Luckily, I don't have too much trauma over that period. I understand for a lot of women that can be, a really traumatic time, but for me, I was just confused and frustrated. But luckily, one day, one of my pregnancies stayed put. I was under close observation and they monitored me quite regularly, doing scans, and I had a scan, I think it was like 6 weeks or something ridiculously early, and all you could see was basically a dot, and that's why we sort of nicknamed the baby Dot up until, the 4th of March 2014, when she came out a whopping 9 pounds 1 as Molly May. So after, when I had my blood test done, they told me I was rhesus negative. They told me that I needed to have an anti-D injection. I was like, what's that for? And that's like, well, if you want other children, you need an anti-D injection because your body will reject foreign bodies because you're rhesus negative. And then it was just like this penny drop moment. Like, I had the ectopic pregnancy and then I was miscarrying. So no one had accounted for the ectopic pregnancy being a pregnancy and therefore needing an anti-D injection. So basically that was the reason and explanation as to why I was having miscarriages. So it was a revelation, very frustrating as well, and annoying that sort of that hadn't been picked up on. But ultimately, bundle of joy, baby girl, very happy mummy. And I got my underactive thyroid diagnosed. I now had my anti-D injection so I could then later have Paddy. And so I was on levothyroxine, thyroid medication. Things started to change, so it helped to regulate my hormones basically. The symptoms reduced, but I knew, it's not a magic pill. It's not a magic pill. I still had this weight, still wanted to lose this weight, so I knew I had to sort of put, into practice, diet, fitness, etc. Basically, it gave me the baseline to start work on myself for fat loss, and getting back into a body that I loved. And what really helped for me was, cutting out processed stuff, fueling my body with whole foods and strength training. Science moment for you. So with hypothyroidism and PCOS, your metabolism is naturally slower. So basically your bodies don't burn as much or as many calories at rest. But when you build muscle, what this does is it boosts your metabolic rate. So your basal metabolic rate, your BMR, can be improved, increased, so you burn more calories at rest, if that makes sense. So that's why strength training is really beneficial for people with underactive thyroid and PCOS, and also helps you to supports you to balance your insulin levels. So it's really, really helpful. So strength training is 100%, key for exercise for PCOS and underactive thyroid. And another thing that I include as well is HIIT workouts. I only do them like once or twice a week, but like 20 minutes in the morning. It just really helps to wake up my thyroid, and there is some scientific backing for this. They've done research into HIIT training, and it's those short interval spikes that really sort of help to wake up the thyroid. So I've really found that beneficial, but each person is different. You've got to listen to your body, you've got to really tune into it and understand it. But basically, by strength training, HIIT occasionally, cycle syncing I do as well. So I sync my cycles to my workouts, and basically reduce intensity during PMS, and eating whole foods, cutting out processed foods. Basically, I biohacked my body. I regulated my periods. I mean, my thyroid was managed as well, but also as well went for a scan on my ovaries, and I had no cysts. I was like, yay, boom. Also, as a side effect of all of this, because I had been experiencing PMDD, which is like a severe case of PMS. Like, think of PMS like where you're irritable and hungry and tired and brain fog. I mean, PMDD is like that on steroids, like to the point where someone's next to you and they make a noise and you're like you're having to do breathing exercises to try and not scream or just kick off, or something really gets you, you just want to I had a moment before where I literally just smashed my head against a brick wall because it was just too much. Everything was too much, and I wasn't nice to be around. I was not nice to be around, and I fully own it and admit it, and tried my best to control it. I did things like have ear loops, which are little plugs that go in your ears to stop the noise, so you don't get so sensitive to noise, because I was just finding, and like the kids were laughing, like they were having fun and enjoying themselves, and it was too much for me. It was too noisy, so I didn't want to stop them from laughing. I didn't want to stop them from having fun. Like, they weren't being bad. They're kids. They need to make noise. They interact with each other. For God's sake, my kids are actually getting on. Like, I don't want to stop that. It's a rarity. But I just remember that one day, and I was just like, it's too much. So I invested in these ear loop plugs, which I've now lost because I don't need to use them anymore, because that condition as well subsided along with my cysts, and along with managing my PMDD. It was good. So 12 months of it being good, and fit model category came out, and I was like, yeah, let's go. But we'll come back to that. So what I wanted to talk about is also as well the women's cycle, because cycle syncing for me literally it's one of the things that really helped solve my issues when it comes to my hormones. And I just want to sort of go over it, because half the population are women that have menstrual cycles, yet we still don't really know much about it. A lot of women don't track it. A lot of women don't understand their bodies or tune into it or understand symptoms or why we are doing and feeling and being, the way we are around our menstrual cycle. And it's important for men too. It's important for men to understand women, and it saves a lot of arguments. Paul knows when to pick his fights, basically, and if it's a few days before my period, he would just walk away and leave me to it whilst I have a meltdown. But if it's any other time of the month, he knows, he knows when to pick his fights. So on average, the women's cycle is around 28 days, and it's made up into two parts. You have got the follicular phase, and then you have got the luteal phase, so both lasting around 14 days. Day one is your period. So the first day of your period, day one, that's sort of when your body resets. Day one, start to bleed. And then most people menstruate, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. Around day 14, you ovulate. You can also spot a little bit with blood. That's quite normal. I didn't realise that. Now I do. So you can, spot for 1 or 2 days. That's quite normal. And then from day 21 is where potentially PMS occurs. Again, always remember, everyone's different. So, cycle syncing. Take into account, everyone is different. But how I like to work. Bleeding from day one. Like, I always tell we digress. I always tell my coaching clients, you will never have loved a period so much until you cut coaching with me, because once you start bleeding, we know hormones are going to be back to like they're going to regulate basically, and good shit's coming. So as soon as you bleed, it's like, yay, I'm bleeding, hormones going to do its thing, they're going to sort themselves out, and we are going to smash it. So bleeding is a good thing, because basically, like day one bleeding, probably the first few days, typically, everyone's different, first few days you're a little bit crampy, sometimes you're a little bit hungrier, a little bit fatigued, but you know, it can be managed with the right diet. So, you know, including lots of iron, making sure that you sleep well, you know, making sure that you move your body. Don't sit still, don't sit down, don't do nothing, don't go lay in bed. No, move. You need to move your body, and that alleviates the cramps. And you need to eat nutritious foods. You need to have iron in your diet. I always say to the girls, if they're having a really heavy period, steak, sweet potato and spinach. Like that is like a period friendly dinner, and we'll sort you out each and every time. But yeah, so period, then you come through to your follicular phase. Well, you're in your follicular phase, but sort of mid to late follicular phase, like day 6 to day 14. Here, your estrogen rises, and basically your strength rises. So estrogen rises, strength rises, you can start to train, hormones are regulated, you are, you know, gonna feel absolutely incredible, and your appetite is gonna, you know, you're not gonna be as hungry, so you can manage your food really well. You know, this is the time to really start homing in and, you know, perfecting those habits, and, you know, really home in on your training and nutrition. When you hit ovulation, for me, sort of follicular ovulation period and just after is like PB time, baby. I am going to smash it. If I am going to go for a 1 rep max, which I don't do anymore because it's not worth the risk to reward, but this is when I'm going to do it. Around this time is, you know, you're at your strongest. This is when you're going to smash a PB. Then luteal phase, so end of luteal phase comes the PMS. This is when, you know, things start to change. PMS sort of kicks in, fatigue, craving, mood swings, hormones go all over the place, and this is where I scale back. So typically for me, again, everyone's different. I'll keep making that point because every single woman is different. You've got to tune in and listen to your own body. But for me, I will listen to my body, and some days it's, you know, earlier on in the cycle, some days it's later in the cycle, but there will be about 3-4 days where I need more food, period. I need more food. 3 to 4 days, more food, about 500 calories, and I'll allow myself it. I still track because that's who I am, you know. Ultimately, everyone wants to track every single thing, that's absolutely fine. But I like to track, I mean, like my body, I am a walking sick note. I just need to make sure that everything's under control. So I do still track, but yeah, about 500 extra calories, a bit of chocolate if I need it, unfortunately dairy free. And I will scale back my training. This means not doing really, really heavy lifts. I'll still do a bit of cardio and enjoy doing this. It almost, where my energy sort of dips, like the morning cardio or the HIIT, that almost sort of gives me the energy. So I haven't stopped that. For me, that still works. But I might swap out my strength training if I'm feeling tired, weak, and I will do something like yoga, mobility, or just do some sort of form of calisthenics, something that I'm enjoying, something that I want to do. I do enjoy moving my body. So for me, I just do what I fancy doing at the time. So, you know, I'll say it again, each woman is different. You've got to really learn to listen to your body, and I highly recommend scheduling, getting a planner, doing it on an app. I mean, I do it on my Fitbit app, and you can record your moods, you can record your symptoms, you can track your cycle, and you can start tuning into your body and understanding it. Like I have learned, you know, my body, you know, the different things that happen down there through the month, you know, like spotting and, you know, different discharge, and, you know, towards the end of the month, the symptoms, all of that I have learned by just really homing in and listening to my body. So with everyone being so unique and individual, you know, this is your sign to start logging your cycles and truly understanding your body, I managed to biohack my body, basically. Eating clean, cycle syncing, good lifestyle habits, I'd say. Sleep is a massive thing I changed as well. Another thing, we need our sleep. Our bodies need sleep, which is hard sometimes when you've got little children, but we do our best. And this is about, doing what we can. The Fit Mum mantra has always been the same. We do what we can, when we can, with what we've got. But yeah, those things just really helped me to, biohack my body. But as I mentioned, 12 months, brilliant. And then I decided, yay, fit model category came out. So people might ask, why do it? Why even attempt bodybuilding with, period loss being a common thing in bodybuilding, hormone imbalance being common? Because for me, I train all the time anyway. I track all my food anyway. I am, religious with my diet and exercise. And it's not because I'm obsessed or addicted. I mean, I'm a little bit. But the main reason for me is because my body's so fucked. I've got these conditions and I am a walking sick note, but I am not giving into it. I am not giving into my body. I'm not going to let my body be in charge of me. I'm going to decide. I still want to be in a body I feel comfortable in. I want to be in a body I feel happy in. I want to be in a body where I'm strong, I'm able, I'm fast. I'm not fast. But I want to be in a body where I am comfortable and happy. I am not giving up to conditions that I could quite easily give into. And then I could be, sluggish, overweight, uncomfortable, not happy, depressed. No, I decided no. So I do all of these things anyway, and I'm that strict, I'm that focused when it comes to training and nutrition. Why can't I try and work towards something? Why can't I try and achieve something? So why can't I? Why can't I, get some reward for all the hard work that I put in, and get a medal, get some pictures. It's an achievement, it's a goal, it's something to work towards, and I want something to work towards. I used to do photo shoots, and then I got my clients and we do photo shoots, do the Fit Mum photo shoots, and then I've done that. I want something to work towards. And I did think of the powerlifting, and I did strength training before, but the risk wasn't worth the reward because my back kept going. So for me, what else can I do? So bodybuilding, and then I couldn't do bodybuilding because they were all so lean, and I knew the problems with bodybuilding and reducing body fat percentage too much and messing up the hormones. And then there was the new category, fit model, and I was just like, look, my hormones have been balanced for a year. There's a new category, which means you don't have to be so lean. So this just seems like the perfect opportunity. It just seems like it's meant to be. So that's what I've done, and I've come right up until a few days beforehand, and there is some hormonal differences. And I mean, I should have listened to my body. It's my own fault. I've been working with my coach, but my coach doesn't know me and my body, and I do, and I didn't listen when I started spotting. I should have listened. I didn't. I pushed through because I'm too stubborn. So yeah, I said, look, we've not come all this way to not do it. We've not come all this way to not step on stage, and I'm gonna step on stage. So right now I'm just focusing on that, and then afterwards we've had the chat. We are going to do my style of training. I'm basically taking over the whole coaching plan now, to cycle sync. We're gonna cycle sync, we're gonna sort everything out, because I want to prove you can do this and maintain a healthy body, maintain hormone balance, maintain periods. It is important for women to have periods. It's a sign of health. If you do not get your periods, it's a sign that something's up. It's a sign that something's wrong. Your body should be having periods as a woman. That's what we're designed to do. So for me, my coaching is about health. How I train is about health. So I want to prove that we can do both. I want to prove that we can do fit model, we can do bodybuilding, and we can maintain a healthy body. And I'm so passionate about that. And I'm not going to say that I'm perfect, and we're not going to make errors, and we already have made one. you know, but that's part of the learning process. Part of learning, part of, you know, succeeding is failing. So you can learn and make the changes that you need to make in order to make sure that it works and it is successful. So, you know, we're going to step on stage. Hopefully we're going to do okay, we're going to do well, you know, and then we've got another show in July. So my focus is all going to be about, you know, let's get my cycle sorted, and hopefully it's just the one period. Basically, go back and reverse. One of the reasons I think as well it's happened this month over another month is because it's my left ovary, and it does normally struggle. So you obviously alternate with your ovaries, which side releases the egg which month. So my left one is where I had the fallopian tube removed. So there has been problems with me being late on that side, not missed but late. So that's why I'm like, I still feel like it might come, but it's later than usual. So but that this side is not is prone to being problematic. So we need to make it right. You know, I hadn't missed one before, and we shouldn't be missing one, and we shouldn't be missing periods going forward. So yes, this is what the journey is going to be forward. So stepping on the stage next weekend. I'm going to do a video over peak week. I'll do a video on show day, and then from there we are going to cycle sync and work on making sure that we are healthy as well as stage ready. So hopefully that explains me, the sick note, but also would like to hear from you if you've got PMDD, PCOS, underactive thyroid, had ectopic pregnancies, rhesus negative, you know, anything else you want to add, Lisa? Let's have a chat. Talk to me. Put it in the comments. You know, if you're struggling with anything, put it in the comments. In terms of, you know, hormone balancing and coaching, I do support that. I do support women with underactive thyroid, PCOS, endometriosis, also as well perimenopause, menopause. It has become my specialty, probably because of my own body and all of its issues. But you know, obviously for me it's been a topic that I've been really intent to learn about. For me it's just something that obviously I'm interested in for myself, but also as well I do quite like complex cases, and I like to solve problems. Yeah, so for me it's just like, right, come here, let me fix you. And yeah, I find that really rewarding and satisfying, and just seeing women feel empowered in their bodies and, you know, get their periods regulated and, you know, find themselves, you know, feeling comfortable in their body again. That for me, you know, you achieve more things and want to go more places, and everything just comes better. So yeah, if you want coaching support, I can support with that. If you want to have a conversation, we can all have a chat in the comments. But yes, talk to me about your sick notes, and I think I've covered everything. But if I've missed anything off, you know, again, ask me in the comments, let me know, speak to me. But yeah, love having you here. Remember to subscribe, hit that bell for notifications on when the next video is up, and I will see you soon for the next one.